So I came across this video of Muhammad Hijab, and if I'm honest, I found it really disturbing. I have a question for anyone out there, especially men who have wives, daughters, and sisters who listen to Muhammad Hijab, which I'll pose at the end of the video. But for now, have a listen.
I've gotten people married in 1 minute, in 60 seconds, because I was busy. Honestly, someone comes to the office and say, listen, I need to get married, this and that. I say, listen, I need to go to the toilet. So this is going to have to be a quick one.
Okay, so Muhammad Hijab begins here by bragging about how he conducts people's wedding contracts in 60 seconds because he's busy. And then he talks about couples coming into his office while he's on his way to relieve himself. He tells them that he needs to rush it because he needs to go to the toilet and then go about his business. Now, to me, this reveals two things about him. The first thing it reveals is the amount of importance that he places on the sacred act of matrimony in Islam, something that is highly sacred and important in the eyes of God. And the second thing it reveals is his own sense of self-importance, or in other words, narcissism, because clearly his time is more important and more valuable than the lives of two people that will spend the rest of their lives together in marriage. Now, he could have, like a normal person, said, I need to go to the toilet, so bear with me, I'll come back, we'll sit down, take our time and do this properly, because after all, this is a marriage and it's important. But no, his time is way too valuable for that.
I tell you the truth, I've even gotten people married on WhatsApp. And now there's a difference of opinion on the matter, but I was driving and this guy, he called me and said, look, I'm gonna commit haram. He goes, I've got 2 witnesses ready on this WhatsApp group. Can I add you and you do?
Okay, then he talks about getting people married off in WhatsApp groups. Now, I'm not going to go into the halal or haram of getting married on WhatsApp because that's not my place. But I will say that this is a massive problem that we have in our community, which I don't believe the sheikhs and the elders in the community are aware of. It's something that I'm ashamed to say that I was a part of in my younger days, but now see the real problems of such behaviors. So you have boys who want to have a physical relationship with girls that they might be involved with. And because they want to maintain this illusion that this relationship is halal or that they're doing it in a halal way, they get these secret marriages or these secret nikahs done, often over WhatsApp groups. Now, from that situation, they get everything they want out of the marriage, which is to have a full-on physical relationship with the girl, but they give nothing back in terms of their responsibilities as a husband. Now, 99 times of 100, these girls go along with it because they're in love and they've caught feelings for the boys, and they believe that these boys are religious, practicing Muslims who also love them and will look after them and be a good husband to them. Now, they may make excuses like, they can't be open about it now because of their age and circumstances, but in the future, they will grow into the perfect husband. Little do they know that most of these boys have no intentions of taking the responsibilities of a husband, and if they were mature enough or responsible enough, would have had the dignity to honor the girl by marrying her properly and openly with the consent of her family. Now, Muhammad Hijab, being a person of knowledge and influence and authority in the community, really should be calling out this kind of behavior because he knows how these things are going to end, but instead he goes along with it.
So I brought them in. I said to the woman, I said to her, listen, this guy's probably going to leave you. I know this guy. And he was like, what are you doing? You're here to try and make things easy for me. I said, but it's not fair on the poor woman because we know that you're a pernicious man. You're a khabith.
So this part is quite disturbing. Muhammad Hijab is laughing like a hyena throughout this whole video. He's laughing at things that are really serious, that cause huge amounts of damage and harm to our sisters. And over here, he's saying to the girl, you shouldn't marry him because he's probably going to leave you. And then he goes on to say to the man that you're pernicious and you're a khabith. Khabith means filth. So here he's going along with a marriage contract and he's marrying this poor, vulnerable girl, right? Remember one thing here. These are the same men who believe that men are the leaders, that men are more intelligent and women are the followers. So any wrongdoing here has to be the responsibility of the man. Now, this man is marrying a vulnerable girl to a boy that he believes, number 1, will leave her, and number 2 is filth. By his own description, he called him filth.
And I said, what's the mahar? And the guy said, you don't want to hear this one. This is before McDonald's was on the boycott list. He goes, I'm going to give her a meal in McDonald's.
Again, for him, this is extremely funny. The fact that the boy's offering the sister a McDonald's meal as a mahar. And again, this shows a massive problem in our community in the way that we value our sisters. For this guy, him getting access to her as a wife and getting access to her physically is worth a McDonald's meal to him. And whereas this should be eyebrow raising and of concern to Muhammad Hijab finds it funny and he continues with this. Because why not? I'm sure if he was in that same position, he'd want to do the same thing. And the thing that angers me and annoys me the most about these situations is that these so-called sheikhs and dawah bros are the same guys that talk about having ghira over their women, the same guys that talk about having protective jealousy. Now, these are the same lot that if another man's gaze accidentally turned towards their wives or sisters, they would pick a fight with them. Or if their women folk didn't cover all of their hair properly, they'd pick a fight with them. Yet they are willing to give up their sisters to men who want to have physical relationships with them for a burger. They have no idea the amount of trauma, the amount of harm, the amount of crying and suffering and pain that that woman's going to go through. That woman is coming into the marriage thinking she's going to be in an actual marriage, that she's going to fulfill her responsibilities towards him by being obedient to him, by offering herself to him, and by doing all the things that are expected of a woman in a marriage, whereas he's going to give her nothing in return. As soon as he's had his way with her, his whole attitude and his whole demeanor will change towards her. And I've seen this over and over and over again. It's a common story. And that's why sisters become so resentful and bitter towards brothers.
I said, sister, don't do this. I said, at least have something. No, she said, I don't mind. I don't care, whatever. It happened.
He says that he tried to warn the sister against marrying him. To be honest with you, it didn't sound like he tried very hard at all. But of course, the sister's going to want to go ahead with it because in her mind, she's marrying a good, religious, practicing brother. Little does she know that he's tricked her. He's put on a front as if he's religious, but he doesn't really care about her. He's just trying to fulfill his needs in a way that appeases his sense of morality. She's not demanding high mahar. She's not demanding anything because she's got a good heart and she wants to be in a relationship with a person she loves and with a person that she believes in. Little does she know that all he's interested is in one thing.
And he did, in fact, divorce her, unfortunately. But I said, I told you so, and that was it.
And hijab goes on to say that the marriage ended casually. Well, there's no surprises there because he knew it was going to end before he even conducted the marriage. Now, I've got a question for Muhammad Hijab. Would you allow something like this to happen to the woman in your life? Would you allow her to get married in secret to somebody, knowing that this guy is a khabith, knowing that this guy just wants to have physical relationships and then dump her and then get along with his life? And when he's ready and he wants to actually marry and settle down, he's going to do it openly and he's going to do it in the proper way by approaching the wali and having a public ceremony. Now, if you wouldn't do it for the woman in your life, how dare you, as a person of authority, as a representative of Islam, as a learned person, a sheikh, a scholar, and a dawah person, how dare you engage in this kind of behavior with the sisters and daughters of other men out there? And my question to anyone that listens to Muhammad Hijab, takes knowledge from him and respects him, how could you still respect and take knowledge from a person who behaves in this way, who is a textbook narcissist? Literally a textbook narcissist and a person who is willing to harm and damage our sisters in this way.